Imagine a client said to you, Chris, I have to lose 20 pounds in the next 6 months. It's a matter of life and death. What service would you offer them? I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym. And I know that was kind of a different intro to our monthly leaderboard show, but this month I'm talking about ARM and I want to put things into context for you. Quite often, the best service that you can offer somebody is a one-on-one option. If you've got an Olympic athlete, or if you've got somebody who's knocking on death's door, or they've got some kind of chronic injury or something else that you can solve, the best and most efficient way to get them that result is to provide one-on-one coaching. And as you're going to hear from a lot of our leaderboard leaders for ARM, that's what they focus on. So today I'm going to give you the top 10 gyms in Two Brain for ARM. That's average revenue per member. I'm also going to give you some context. In some places, I'm going to share how much revenue these people do and how many clients they actually have. Now, if you're primarily running a group training gym, for example, use this episode to guide you on what you should be offering to clients as an option. You don't have to get rid of your group training program. You don't have to stop doing CrossFit groups or whatever you want, but you should stop pushing people away by not offering a one-on-one or a semi-private offering. Let's face it, there are a lot of people at my gym who want to do hard workouts. They want to do stuff that looks and feels like CrossFit, but they don't really want to do that in a group. Or maybe they don't want to do it at noon. Or maybe there's another reason why they want the one-on-one option. And so what they're paying for with one-on-one is privacy, schedule flexibility, maybe a little bit of extra accountability, or maybe it's they just want to come in with their spouse and do that time together. So when you're listening to these high ARM, don't discount this as like, well, this is personal training in semi-private gyms. The reality is that we are providing a professional service as coaches. That's a very high value service. And this is the quote that always gets me into trouble. The group training option should be your discount option. Listen if you want to hear more, and if you don't want to hear more, if you just want to get mad and take that quote out of context, you go right ahead. So first, let's start with the top 10 gyms in Two Brain for ARM last month. In 10th place, and these are all in US dollars, we've converted them, even though the top 10 are from all over the world. The 10th place gym had an ARM of $500.74. Amazing. They were from the States. The 9th place gym was $508.69. The 8th place gym last month earned $522.23 US per client. And they were in Canada. The 7th place gym was $528.38. The 6th place gym was $568.70. So imagine every client in your gym paying you $568.70. Well, that is many, many, many times more than the average person in your gym pays for the industry average. Every year we produce this State of the Industry report, and we look at the averages. I also publish every month what the top gyms are doing because these are the ones that we want to emulate. And these are the ones who pull the averages up. What are these gyms doing differently? Well, we're going to get into that in a minute. But first, let's go through the top 5. So in 5th place, and this is a US-based gym, they were doing $579.13 ARM last month. Now, this isn't a one-shot deal. It's not like they sold a super duper extra package or what they used to call, high value or high ticket package to like a bunch of clients. That's not what happened here. This is like a monthly average for them. In 4th place, $585.83. And now things start to get crazy because in 3rd place, the 3rd place gym worldwide for Two Brain last month had an ARM of $692.97. That's very close to $700. And the 2nd place gym, which is in Germany, had an ARM of $784.59. That's every client in their gym is paying them close to $800 a month US. The number 1 gym was $821.42, and they were in the US. $821.42 per month ARM. Now, you might be looking at that and thinking like that is just beyond the scope of possibility, especially if you're a CrossFit gym and you're charging like $130 a month for unlimited or something. But use these numbers the way you would look at Matt Fraser's Snatch, okay? Or the way that you would look at like Rich Froning's Fran time. You look at it and you think like that's beyond the scope of what I'm going to be capable of. But what that does is it sets the bar for everybody else. It says, okay, well, here's what's actually possible, right? And that's what we want to do is we want to say like, here's the high water mark, here's the average. You want to be above average and trending toward the high water mark for ARM. Now, let's talk about how they got there, because Two Brain is not about just giving you more information. It's about giving you action. It's about giving you things that you can copy and just do yourself. The overall theme with these gyms is that they might have a group coaching option or they might not, but if they do, it's their least expensive option. So a client comes in and says, I have this goal. So starting off with a no sweat intro, number one, that's the key to a high ARM and better retention. You're sitting down with the client, you're talking about what they care about, the goals that they want to reach. The client says, I have this goal. You say, okay, well, the fastest path to get to this goal is XYZ. And I'll leave it to your coaching expertise to make that prescription. You know best. And that's why the client's coming to you. They're not coming to you to buy CrossFit or your Fit Body Bootcamp workouts or your F45 workouts. They're coming to you to solve a problem. And they're looking to you, the coach, to tell them how to solve that problem best, fastest, simplest, easiest, with the greatest likelihood of success. For most people, that's going to be a one-on-one coaching option. At worst, it's going to be like a small group coaching option where I can spend time looking directly at you and talk to you almost every day. So, okay, you present the option and they say, that's just out of my budget. I can't afford it. Okay, fair enough. How about this option? And maybe you give them an option for semi-private and they say, it's still too high. I can't do it. Okay, what budget are we working with here? $200, $300 a month. I understand. If that were my budget, what I would do is participate in group training. Now, you're going to go through a little on-ramp period first to make sure that you're up to speed and safe and knowledgeable, and then we'll put you into our group training program. Our group training program is broad, general, and inclusive. We're going to work on everything: strength, power, mobility, speed. At Catalyst, we also work on metabolic flexibility, but, make your own prescription. And the group training option is the least expensive of the three. Okay, I'll take that. Now, you're not going to get to where you want to go as quickly as you can, but it's a great start, and we'll meet again in 90 days, and we'll talk about your options and your progress. How about that? Okay, great. So 90 days later, you're going to meet with them again, and this is where you say, are you satisfied with your progress? And you give them options to speed it up, which of course requires more attention from you, more one-on-one care from them, and higher accountability, all those things. And that's what pulls ARM up. So when we say that group training is your lowest price option or even your discount option, what I mean is that you don't need to have a lower option than that. Like, don't just go out and sell access, because people will always go to your lowest option, lowest priced option. And you're a coaching business. So your highest price option should be one-on-one if you offer it. Your medium priced option should probably be a delivery in a small group or semi-private setting, just the way that CrossFit started. And then your lowest tier offering should be in a group. And those tiers should be priced according to speed. How quickly can I get you to your goals? Fastest one-on-one, eventually group programming, right? And so that's what these gyms do. And so when we talked to them and said, how are you getting these ARM numbers? Their responses were like, well, it's just what we do. But I want to share some specifics with you. So some of these gyms responded to our pointed questions about how did you get such a high ARM? And one said, this number has gone steadily up over the last 5 years, and it will jump again in January as we raise our PT rates. Another said, I focused on personal training and I've gotten rid of group classes due to lack of interest. This leaves more hours in the day for one-on-one and semi-private training. That's really, really interesting. Another person said, what I do might be a little different than other gyms. I focus on one-on-one and semi-private personal training as my business model, and I offer group classes as a supplement to private training. I'll explain what this person means, because this is what we do at Catalyst now. When somebody comes in, everybody starts one-on-one through our on-ramp process. At the end of on-ramp, we say, you're making good progress. Would you be most comfortable continuing one-on-one or in a semi-private group? And if the person says, oh no, I've got some friends in the group, I want to do the group, then we'll offer them the group training. But most people take semi-private at Catalyst now, and this has been a big pivot. That from where we started 20 years ago to now, we've gone mostly semi-private. And so what happens is, these people will be doing their semi-private workouts, and then they'll say, oh, you know what? I got to miss a week. I'm going to be on holiday. I'm going hunting. I'm in Northern Canada. I'll be away. No problem. You can make up the ones that you miss with our group classes. And so the group class is kind of like the safety net for people who can't make their regular high-value semi-private training. Now, of course, we still run group classes, but we don't run as many as we used to. And the people who are in them are super knowledgeable, friendly, and they're making extra little connections too. There are people who come to Catalyst and just do group classes. That's wonderful. They have lots of fun. They're gradually getting more and more fit. I think we have good programming. The people who are doing semi-private and PT are really the bread and butter now. There are also some people who offer a hybrid option. So you've got group training and you've got one-on-one. So this person said, we offer comprehensive packages, for example, personal training plus nutrition, small group plus nutrition, or personal training plus small group. Another person said, we start everybody with a base of personal training 2 or 3 times a week for as long as they need, and then transition them to 1 or 2 days of personal training and add on small group PT as their base. This allows them one day to focus on their goals, and the other days they jump into community workouts. Well, that's a lot of fun, right? That sounds like a great model. And the cool thing is that you don't have to scrap what you're currently doing. You don't have to throw what you're doing in the trash and start from scratch. You can add these things with the help of a mentor from Two Brain. That means you don't have to go through this complicated and scary process of changing. You can start new clients on these new prescriptions and then gradually change over months, years if you want to, or always keep your group training classes and just have options for one-on-one if you want them. The trap that you don't want to fall into is confusing your method with your model. So maybe you're a massive fan of CrossFit, maybe you're a massive fan of kettlebells or just strength training or whatever that is. That's your method. Your model is how you deliver that method to people, and that's usually determined in a partnership. You tell the person what's best for them. They tell you what they prefer. When those two things come together, that's your model. And if you don't have a personal training or a small group option, you're probably pushing people out the door who don't just want to do big group. Conversely, if all you have is one-on-one, you're probably going to hit your own capacity pretty quickly. And while your ARM might be big, you won't have enough clients to sustain you. What's interesting, I'm just going to share a little bit of extra data, because obviously ARM is like one metric that you really need to care about, but it's not the only metric. You multiply that by the number of clients that you have to get your revenue, and you multiply that by leg to get your lifetime value, etc. You have to look at the whole picture. But I just want to share a couple of other data points with you because I look at these as a mentor to these gyms. So for example, while the average ARM of the top 10, if you just took a mean average, is $608 a month, their average client headcount is only 56, but that means that their monthly gross is $34,000. So think about what it would take to train only 56 clients. Well, you don't need a massive amount of space. You don't need a massive amount of equipment to make a $34,000, mean average revenue. Think about what you'd be taking home. The flip side of that is, and I've lived this, is that there's a high demand on your time. So you can be doing quite a bit of revenue as a personal trainer. You can be taking home a pretty high profit margin, but the reality is that you can't sustain that long term. And that's why at Two Brain, we really promote having a good mix of one-on-one options with some kind of group options. It might be small group, it might be big group. It's really up to you. I want to help you build your business, but building a better business means not turning a blind eye to different options that your clients want. It means being client-centric. It means focusing on what they want and what they need. And when you pair those two things together, you get an amazing business. So looking at this leaderboard, you can see like what's possible from an ARM standpoint. It might not be the exact model that you want, but we can work with you one-on-one to build the model that you do want. There was a time in my life when I only wanted to coach group classes, but we didn't shut down the one-on-one option. I had other trainers doing the one-on-one. Now we're at a point where my audience at my gym is a little bit more mature, 40 to 60. And looking at the state of the industry data, that's pretty common. Like the average client coming into your gym is 41 to 50 years old. What do they want? What do they have? What do they need? Well, they probably want some schedule flexibility. They probably don't need a discount because they're settled. They have their home, they have their job, etc. These are high ARM clients. And if you think, I'm going to get 300 people into a big group, then you're mostly missing these people. These people want some schedule flexibility. They want some customization, some tailoring of their program. They want to train with just you or the same 2 or 3 people a lot of the time. And so you need to have a program that helps them. That also benefits you because you get a high ARM, which means that you can do way more with way less. You can have a much more meaningful impact on these people because they come in and stay and actually change their lives instead of come in and washing out 5 months later when they don't like your group workouts. And you can build careers for your coaches using these people too. It's much harder to build careers if all you're selling is group classes than if you have a PT or semi-private group option. Anyway, The point of our leaderboard show is always to show you what's possible and to get some quotes from the people up ahead of all of us who are leading the way that can help you build your business. Sometimes it's context, sometimes it's descriptive, do exactly this. Today, what I hope you take away is just a little bit of mind expansion on what's possible. I hope you're as blown away and inspired by these people as I am. And I hope also that it makes you really think about your business and where you're going and what the future holds and what's possible thanks to these trailblazers. Thank you for your service. Thank you for running a gym. Thank you for helping people. Let's stay in the fight together. I'm Chris Cooper. If you want to chat more about this or you've got questions, you want to debate about the value of ARM and personal training, just go to gymownersunited.com. We'll have a meaningful discussion there.